I still don't really know what happened that night. And honestly, I'm not sure I ever want to. Back in the summer of 2019, I was driving from Phoenix to Denver for a construction job. It was one of those long, lonely drives through the desert, miles of highway cutting through empty land. No towns, no lights, just the hum of my truck and the sound of wind whipping across the asphalt. I left late, thinking I could push through the night and make it by sunrise, but around 1 a.m., my eyelids felt heavy and the road started to blur. I needed a place to stop, even for a few hours. That's when I saw it. An old neon sign glowing faintly through the darkness. Highway, Rest Motel. The light buzzed and flickered. Half the letters burned out, so it just read H-I-G, I-R-E-T. I pulled into the cracked parking lot. Only 2 cars were parked there, both covered in dust like they hadn't moved in days. The lobby lights were dim, yellow, and uneven. Inside, the air smelled like stale coffee and cigarettes. Behind the counter sat an older man, maybe in his late 50s. He wore a stained undershirt and thick glasses that reflected the buzzing fluorescent bulb above him. "Need a room," I said quietly. He didn't look surprised, just pushed a register toward me and said, "Only one open tonight, room 13. You okay with that?" I gave a small shrug. "Yeah, that's fine." He stared at me for a second longer than felt normal before sliding over a brass key attached to a cracked tag with a faded number, 13. The hallway smelled like bleach and damp carpet. The wallpaper was peeling, and every step echoed down the corridor. When I reached room 13, I noticed something odd. Every other door had a peephole. Mine didn't. I turned the key and stepped in. The air hit me instantly cold. Too cold. The AC wasn't on, but the room felt like an icebox. The light above the bed flickered once before steadying. The room itself was plain: one bed, a dusty desk, a small TV bolted to the wall, and a crooked painting of a meadow. When I tried to straighten the frame, it tilted right back down again. I tossed my bag on the bed and sat down to check my phone. No signal. I turned on the TV, only static. I flipped through the channels, but every single one was just white noise. For a few minutes, I just sat there, letting the hum of static fill the silence. Then I heard something, soft footsteps in the hallway. Slow, steady, getting closer. They stopped right outside my door. Then came 3 quiet knocks. Tolp, tolp, tolp. I waited. My heart thudded once hard. Another 3 knocks. I stood up, opened the door. No one. The hallway was empty, lights buzzing faintly. I stepped out, looked both ways, nothing. I went back inside, locked the door, and laughed to myself. Probably just the pipes or something. But a few minutes later, I heard it again. 3 knocks. This time from inside the room. It sounded like it came from the closet. I stared at the door handle. It was trembling slightly, like someone was pressing on it from the other side. My throat went dry. I forced myself to walk closer and pulled the door open fast. Nothing. Just an ironing board and a couple of old wire hangers. I shut it, turned off the lamp, and lay down pretending to sleep. At some point, I must have drifted off. When I woke, the room was glowing white. The TV had turned itself back on. But it wasn't static anymore. It was a blank screen, glowing. And across that light, something moved. A shadow. It passed from one side to the other, like someone had walked between me and the TV. I sat up fast, eyes wide, but there was no one there. Then I saw something even worse. The reflection on the black TV screen. Someone was sitting on the bed behind me. I spun around. Empty. The air felt wrong, heavier than before. The cold had turned into that deep kind of chill that seeps into your bones. I sat in the corner for the rest of the night, wide awake, waiting for daylight. When the first light broke through the blinds, I grabbed my things, rushed out, and went straight to the front desk. The man was there again, reading his newspaper. Without looking up, he said, "You stayed in 13? I hesitated. "Yeah." He nodded slowly. "You're the first one to last the whole night since 2007. My stomach dropped. "What do you mean?" He sighed and said quietly, "Guy just like you. Construction worker. Checked in at 13 one night. Never checked out. Truck was still out front the next morning. Room was empty. I didn't say a word. I just turned and left." A few hours later, I stopped at a gas station down the road. I pulled out my phone to delete the motel from my GPS history and noticed a photo I'd taken when I first arrived. It showed the motel's sign, glowing red against the dark sky. But when I opened it now, the photo was different. The sign wasn't glowing. The windows were boarded up. The building looked completely abandoned. Curious and terrified, I searched online for Highway Rest Motel. It said the place had burned down in 2011. The fire started in room 13. I don't know what I stayed in that night. All I know is I don't drive late anymore. And if you ever find yourself on Highway 77, somewhere between Phoenix and Denver, and you see a flickering neon sign that says Highway Rest Motel, don't stop.